All right, season 12 Overwatch coming in. Juno's released. 5 CP. I don't even know if that was coming out. That is out also in ranked. A bunch of other hero changes. Let's see who's going to be OP, who got nerfed. Yeah, let's go. If you're like me, you have no idea what the heck is going on in the world of Overwatch, so might as well check out Karki's video because he puts everything perfect. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Don't watch Karki's videos, sub to him. Go do that.
A new support hero in Juno, a new game mode clash with Hanaoka and Throne of Anubis.
Very great videos.
15 avoid slots, a wave respawn.
Wait, we have 15 avoid slots now? They actually put that in? Oh my god. Wait, dude, everyone hype in the chats. W's. Let me see it. 15 avoid slots. This is going to be great. Can't wait.
A soft ranked reset and a ton of new skins, of course, including Mythic Anubis Reaper are all new additions for Overwatch 2 Season 12. New Frontiers. We'll get into all of that later on, of course, after we cover the most important thing, which is the balance patch. D.Va's defense matrix is going to be nerfed from 3.5 to 3 seconds. The devs comment that...
Okay, D.Va definitely needed a crazy nerf. I would have hoped that the DM range maybe lowered a little bit, but 0.5 seconds is quite a lot of time in Overwatch, so... I think that's pretty good. It felt like way too long anyways, so yeah, they're probably gonna, let's see what they say. But yeah, D.Va was definitely one of the strongest characters. It's not that big of a nerf unless they did anything else to it, but it is something.
The increase in defense matrix availability didn't help D.Va's overall performance that much compared to the amount of frustration it was causing players on the opposing team, so we're reverting it to the previous duration. For Orisa, the energy javelin impact damage is going to be increased from 60 to 80. The devs comment that Orisa is still underperforming, so we're increasing the impact damage of Energy Javelin to better reward accuracy with the ability. Zarya is getting a small buff. The particle...
Did they take away the headshot on the spear? I remember that was like in the beginning of Season 11. It was like a hidden buff. Did they end up reverting that, or is that still in the game where you can headshot with the Javelin? They didn't say anything here about it, so maybe they took it away because it wasn't intended. Yeah, that was a bug. Okay, so they took it out, or that's still in there? Yeah, like Orisa was so bad that you would never even have played Orisa anyways. So yeah, I mean the Javelin Spear, it's good for damage, but Orisa's survivability compared to all the other tanks just is not that good up there. And now it looks like we're getting Zarya buff, so that's even more of a bigger nerf to Orisa. So yeah, she might have more damage, but you mean you get a Zenyatta, Zarya's gonna beam. D.Va micro missiles with DM, it was just, yeah, Orisa was not looking good.
Cannon secondary fire minimum damage is going to be increased from 47 to 55. The maximum damage is going to be increased from 95 to 110. That's at full energy. The devs comment that Zarya's secondary fire didn't benefit much from the projectile size changes in Season 9 since it's mostly aimed at the ground. We're increasing its damage to keep it from feeling effective relative to her primary.
Are they lowering the left click?
Beam. Echo's HP is going to be...
Okay, so they're not lowering the left click, so they're just like buffing Zarya's overall damage no matter what, because they're leaving left click the same, and they're buffing the right click to do more damage with the right click. So it's just overall gigantic Zarya buff. Okay. I mean, I think Zarya was getting pretty strong. Be interesting to see how well that goes in. I could think you probably still only use her probably to fight, what, D.Va... Maybe against like some Junkrats, stuff like that. I don't know if I still think you probably lose to what, like a Reinhardt, maybe Ramatra. I don't know.
Reduced from 250 to 225. The devs comment that no additional adjustments to support the reduced health pool, as like Pharah, Echo was one of the top performing damage heroes recently.
Echo was really
Interestingly enough, Hanzo's actually getting his health reduced from 250 to 225 as well. The devs comment that Hanzo doesn't quite fit the category of being as highly mobile as the other heroes as we're moving to 225 HP, but like Widowmaker, he does have the potential long-range lethality merits as he is now able to one-shot the 225 HP heroes. It's also nice for the Hanzo mirror matchup to be more decisive.
Wait, Hanzo got his one shot back? Oh boy. Well, 07 to all the supports and squishy deeps. Time for you guys to get pissed. All right, man. They honestly should have just made it so his headshot damage was like 1 damage less than a headshot. So it's pretty much there if he did any other damage. But getting one-shotted by Hanzo arrows is going to piss people off. Not a huge fan of that. I think Widowmaker is the only sniper character that should be able to one-shot.
As well. For Junkrat, his frag launcher's projectile size is now reduced by half after the second ricochet, so the random spam damage won't be as consistent. Additionally, the projectiles now preserve slightly more velocity on the ricochet, so they bounce a little bit crazier. You're gonna have to get used to that. The devs comment that this is mostly a revision.
I mean, I honestly think that's a buff for Junkrat, no? Dude, if you can shoot a Junkrat mine and it flies like 30,000 feet in the other direction, like, I feel like that's even harder to figure out where is it going. Since it bounces further. So I think that's like an overall Junkrat buff other than like a nerf.
Back to how Junkrat's grenades used to ricochet in early Overwatch, which enables more control over the angle of the bounce and helps the weapon better control spaces with some tricky shots. But the projectile size is now reduced after a couple of bounces, so there will be fewer random feeling direct impacts near the end of the projectile's lifetime. Getting some Sojourn buffs here for the railgun. The primary fire SMG weapon spread is going to be reduced from 2 to 1.6 degrees.
That's quite a big
buff. It means the
buff.
spread is tighter. Critical hits or headshots now grant 10 energy instead of 5 again, and the energy degeneration rate is reduced from 33 to 15 per second after 7 seconds.
Okay, Sojourn definitely did get a crazy nerf and then was never used. And this is a kind of a gigantic buff for Sojourn. So, I mean, the damage on a right click is still nerfed, hopefully. But it is a pretty big Sojourn buff, so we might see the rise of some Soj.
So it just decays less. Devs comment that after reducing the maximum damage of the railgun secondary fire, we're continuing to look at the effectiveness of Sojourn's primary fire. These changes are to make it more accurate and better reward accuracy by increasing the energy gained from headshots. For Sombra, her base health is also going to be reduced from 250 to 225, and the stealth bonus movement speed is going to be increased from 45 to 60% to compensate. In addition, the virus impact damage is going to be increased from 25 to 35. The devs comment that the increased movement speed while stealth will better enable Sombra to get into advantageous positions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... I don't think Sombra needed a buff, and then now with them lowering everybody's HP pools, adding extra damage to the virus, now that they're like acting virus, like they're just going to die even faster. I think Sombra was in a decent spot already. So they're, yeah, I don't see the need to have done all this to Sombra. Sure, give her the bonus speed and invis. I think that's fine, but increasing the damage, I don't think it was needed.
Or be slightly more evasive with the new lower health. Torbjorn's getting 25 base white health converted into armor. That's a buff. The devs comment that the shift in armor health for Torbjorn is to increase survivability against the heroes which are most affected by armor's damage reduction, such as Tracer. Onto the supports.
I mean, even like that, like I think Torb was great already at dealing with flankers and stuff. Like, did Torb really need that buff? I mean, not really, but okay, sure.
The first one is Illari. The solar rifle maximum ammo is reduced from 16 to 14.
Illari definitely needs some nerfs.
The Captive Sun ultimate projectile environment collision size is going to be reduced from 0.15 to 0 meters. The devs comment that Illari can deal a lot of damage over the course of a game, but may have too much ammo given that her projectiles are easier to land due to their projectile size increase from Season 9, they mean. We're also removing the extra environment collision size on our Captive Sun projectile so that it doesn't accidentally detonate early when firing it at nearby walls and such. There is a similar fix to prevent her secondary fire beam from impacting a wall instead of allies near it as well. Alright, Juno, the new poster girl for Overwatch, is officially entering the game and is eligible for competitive right away on day 1. Now, these nerfs and buffs are going to be relative to her playtest that she had a month ago, so here we go.
Juno, very fun, high mobility, but also very diveable. So I guess let's see what they're doing changes. I think overall, if they like increased her ulti radius, that would have been a good buff. I don't think she really needed crits, so yeah, I don't think they're going to be adding that. Maybe a little bit more heals on the right click.
The base health is going to be reduced from 250 to 225. Primary fire, burst projectile volley rate of fire is going to be reduced from 34 to 28 rounds per second. Her hyper ring deploy range is actually going to be increased by 3.5 meters.
Was this really needed? Deploy range? I mean, I don't really see what the point about it.
The cooldown is also going to be reduced by 2 seconds from 16 to 14. Her pulsar torpedoes damage and healing impact is going to be increased from 75 to 85.
Okay, I like this. Definitely the right click felt a little lackluster, so this seems pretty good.
And the heal over time is going to be reduced from 60 to 50. And finally, her ultimate, the orbital ray, beam travel speed is going to be increased from 1.9 to 2.25 meters per second. The devs comment that community feedback.
I mean, okay, I guess that like it keeps it in the fight faster, but I still feel like it's such a small radius that like you're forced to just be like clusterfuck together, and I don't know, that just doesn't seem like a very good play style. I mean, you do get to keep like the stats for like a half a second, like when you go in and go out, but I would rather than just increase the size of it rather than, yeah. But all right.
Feedback on Juno's trial was split over between over and underpowered. On the stats side, she performed strongly in most every categories, but particularly overperformed in the healing output over the course of the game.
She did seem pretty good on healing.
These changes are improving her utility while pulling back lightly on the healing throughput, since we'd still like her to launch in a strong state as players grow accustomed to her playstyle. There are also quite a few quality of life improvements that are listed elsewhere in the patch notes. Kiriko is considered a pretty mobile support, so her base health is going to be reduced from 250 to 225. Her kunai critical headshot multiplier is going to be reduced from 2.5 to 2 times now.
They're lowering the headshots?
Damage, the body shot of each kunai is going to be increased from 45 to 60.
Wait, so they're just making this less skillful? I mean, Kiri did like kind of dominate with the headshots. But yeah, I don't know. I think being able to tap a Widow across the map, you know, was great as a support, so that you could keep her in check. Now you just become body shot bandit. One of us, dude. This is a buff.
Standardized with most heroes now. The recovery time is going to be increased from 0.5 to 0.55 seconds. That's a nerf. That means each kunai comes out a little bit slower because there's more time
How is this a buff?
The devs comment that despite the perception of how powerful Kiriko feels to play against, she is a hero that consistently underperforms when it comes to winning games. However, she is a highly evasive hero that makes a lot of sense to be in the 225 health bracket. To help counterbalance the loss of health, we're smoothing out her damage dealing consistency by increasing the kunai's weapon's base damage and removing the enhanced critical multiplier. Lifeweaver.
Wait, does she still 2-tap? Because if she still 2-taps, then I guess it's fine. Doesn't matter. But if they took away Kiri's 2-tap ability on the deeps with the headshots, then I think that's kind of a big nerf. You have to go to 3 shots, right? So remember when they did 3 shots for like Cass and stuff, and it's just like, it just feels brutal. 2 taps 225. Oh, okay. Then yeah, I think that's okay then. It's not, there's no big nerf to that then. All right, that's fine. We're all right in the world of Kuriki. Sounds good. Lifeweaver though, they just keep buffing this, man. They just keep buffing
the Healing
them.
Blossom healing progress can now charge passively at a reduced rate. Wow. And it no longer reduces movement speed while you're holding a full charge. The rejuvenating dash healing is going to be reduced from 60 to 45, and for pedal platform, a couple of big changes here. The duration only counts down while the platform is raised now. The platform now resets if no one is standing on it for 2 seconds, and the duration of it is going to be increased from 10 to 12 seconds. However, the health of the platform is reduced from 400 to 300. The devs comment that pedal platform was too easy to waste if a player accidentally ran over it without intending to make use of it. Now it resets back to the ground
kind of cool that it goes up and down.
No one is standing on it. We're also reducing its health so that's more reasonable counterplay to destroy the platform. Healing Blossom will now passively charge at a slower rate to enable heroes to actually swap between weapons without fear of falling too far behind when swapping back to healing. Lucio's base health is going to be reduced.
I still think, like, if they're going to be doing all these buffs, they need to make it so his ulti can be, like, EMP'd. And, because, like, every other ability in the game can be canceled, but Tree doesn't for some reason. So, I mean, if they're going to just keep buffing all this other heal output and all that stuff, like, let's, you know, let's nerf that Tree a little bit.
250 to 225, of course, and his sonic amplifier, the primary fire damage is going to be increased from 18 to 22. The devs comment that Lucio is one of the most mobile heroes and makes his allies faster as well. So we are.
And now with Juno, I think that's got a pretty good combo. Lucio, Juno. Yeah.
Moving him to the 225 HP category. His playstyle tends to get into closer ranges more often than other heroes in this category.
Blankies, everybody
so
in chat.
Up his primary fire damage output to increase his effectiveness at range before diving in. Mercy's health is going to be reduced from 250 to 225, but the Caduceus staff, the primary fire healing, is going to go back from 55 to 60 health per second, and damage boost is going to be increased from 25 to 30%. Devs comment that Mercy's Guardian Angel movement enables her to be highly evasive.
Okay, I mean, increasing the right-click damage again, that's going to start bringing back, you know, Pharah, Echo, Sojourn right-clicks. Yeah, like that is kind of big for damage boost.
And difficult to engage with for many heroes, but is also one of the most fun parts of her ability kit, so we'd like to keep that strength.
So honestly, just take away damage boost and give her this right-click shooter. That's honestly what they need to do. It would solve a lot of Overwatch's balancing problems if they just gave her a gigantic shooting shield rather than damage boost.
We are moving her to 225 HP, but increasing the output of her Caduceus staff beams. Final hero of the patch is Moira. Base health also reduced from 250 to 225. The Biotic Grasp secondary fire damage is going to be increased from 60 to 65 damage.
You suck people off harder now as Moira? Why? What is the point of buffing this, man? Did not need this buff.
Per second. The devs comment that Moira can be difficult to take down between the low cooldown on her Fade ability and self-healing with the Biotic Orb, so now she has the 225 HP and slightly higher damage output to keep an edge to her offensive potential. Let's get into the game modes and maps. The first thing we're going to do is cover the old stuff before we talk about Clash, which is the new game mode. So beginning with Flashpoint, you now have a speed boost when you leave your spawn door to get...
Okay, I think this is fun. This is a good change because the points were so far away that at like 65%, you actually could not get back to the point in time. In Koth, it's like 75%. You can make it back. So I think having a speed boost is pretty good since this map is so gigantic.
Get to the speed capture point faster, less time walking, more time running and fighting to the point.
I think that's
the speed boost is removed when you take or deal damage immediately. The speed boost is also applied by both the default and the forward spawns, and the speed boost does count towards that existing movement speed bonus cap
so you don't want to do 2 at the
75%.
same time.
I'm basically saying don't waste your Lucio speed amp out of spawn on this game mode now because it won't break this cap. For the push maps, they're updating the push bot collision so that players cannot contest from certain high ground positions. Blizzard's probably talking about that spot on Colosseo on the bridge. And
there's two. Dude, in this one spot, dude, you can do it on like the left corner. That was super annoying, right coming out of there. And then on that bridge, yeah, I've been saying that forever that they need to take that away.
New Queen Street, there's a room above the middle area where Mei can like ice block and contest forever. Right, Clash is that new game mode in Overwatch 2, which is...
I had no idea this was even coming into the game. So, yeah, this is news to me.
5 capture points on a linear path on a mirrored map. Since the trial for Clash that took place earlier...
We get new hero and new map, or new game mode with maps. Okay.
This year, they've made some adjustments where that the final capture points for each team, like point A and point E, are more rewarding, and they're worth 3 points that are split up into the segments on that capture progress. A win comes when a team reaches 5 total points from capturing various objectives on the map, or if they manage to push into their opponent's territory and fully capture the final objective. This game mode obviously comes out with 2 maps, Throne of Anubis, which was teased in the trailer, a remake of Temple of Anubis, and Hanaoka, a remake of Hanamura. If you're an Overwatch 1 fan, you know exactly what maps we're talking about.
These maps?
And the final general map and mode updates
what is
are
this?
that they updated the map recency system to increase the frequency of new maps and modes at the start of each season, so you're going to get a lot more Clash right now. The capture point outlines can now be seen through walls on Clash and Flashpoint when the capture point is unlocked, and the lighting scenarios are now randomized in quick play and competitive to make it a bit more interesting. Finally. All right, let's speed through the last couple of updates. There's
I mean, new map or new game mode I think is great. Putting it in competitive right away though, I would have liked to see maybe that not happen for like the first week, because I'm gonna go into ranked, I have no idea where the heck I'm going. There's probably people that have never even played the 5CP, so I'm not gonna know how it works. I think it's gonna be a little brutal. At least Juno was already out. Playtest, so people tried her before. But, yeah, okay. New hero mastery missions. I would like to see them actually put tech into this, right? Like, oh, yeah, you need to do double jumps with these certain characters. Look, you can Zarya double jump. You can rocket jump as Soldier, you know, like, to get to places. Like, that's what they need to be teaching people with the characters, rather than just like, hey, Mario super jump, you know, collect the rings.
Now hero mastery courses for Pharah and Zarya. The Avoid a Teammate now has 15 slots, 3 pin slots for permanently bad actors in your games, and 12 more recent slots. These recent spots are not a guarantee that this person will not be your teammate. The pinned ones, the 3 pinned ones work like you're used to, right? Will never be on your team, but the 12 recent ones will kind of be on a gradient scale. So there's a high chance they won't be on your team, but no guarantees, because matchmaking time will probably take forever. Now, group respawn, it was a mechanic they've been testing in quick play for a couple of months now. Maybe you've noticed it, maybe you haven't if you haven't been keeping up to the patches, but there's actually a brand new spawn system for every mode, quick play and competitive. It's called Wave Respawn.
Wave Respawn.
To understand how it works, let me quickly go over some of the major changes here. The default respawn time is increased from 10 to 12 seconds, and the overtime respawn time is going to be increased from 13 to 14 seconds. Okay, so now that you know default respawn is 12 seconds, how Wave Respawn works is that when the first hero on a team dies, they start a new wave for their team. Any hero that dies within that 6 seconds of that wave already started from a previous teammate who died will join that wave automatically. A hero joining the wave will respawn at the exact same time as that first person who died and started the wave. This means that the respawn time of heroes joining the wave can be as long as 12 seconds if they died at the same time as the first hero, or as short as 6 seconds if they catch that last end of the wave. If a hero starts a wave, but no other hero joins the wave, like nobody else dies, they will respawn 2 seconds faster, back to 10 seconds, which was the default respawn time for, you know, since forever, since Overwatch has been out. This wave respawn mechanic is actually in a couple of other FPS games, if I'm not mistaken, and if you play any of them, let me know if you like the mechanic or not. Here's a screenshot of the rest of the small nitty-gritty things with the spawn system changes and a full director's blog that they released.
I think it definitely helps with like the whole staggering issue, like being able to have just regroup and do team fights. Because if one person dies early in a team fight, it's either like you're just like calling to wipe, or you're all dying to like grab one person kind of like survives a little bit longer. They end up dying, so at least everybody's going together, and I think it's overall good.
Explaining it in further detail. All right, last thing we need to talk about is there is a mid-year rank reset. That's right, all your competitive skill ranks for players have been reset for Season 12, and you need to complete 10 placement matches for each role again to be ranked and start climbing on the leaderboard. The devs comment that their plan was to reset ranks every 6 months alongside larger updates that shake up the metagame, including significant hero balance changes, new heroes like Juno, new game modes like Clash, and changes to core systems like the respawning changes mentioned above. All right, here's my car queue note here. I thought the original plan was once every year, and then they casually mentioned maybe more frequently, semi-frequently, like semi-annually in a couple of like dev Q&As, but they never explicitly said it until now. A lot of people are going to be caught by surprise by a random rank reset. It has been 6 months since that reset in February, but like I think people are just finally recovering from that initial reset, and they're going to be pushed back again, which kind of sucks for really casual players who don't have enough time to put into this game weekly. But for the players who play a lot, like streamers, content creators, and people with no lives, you probably don't mind grinding again, right? But let me know what you guys think. And that's it for this season.
I think the ranked reset is good because then it just keeps people to try in the ranked games, right? Like we're getting to the point now, as we saw like the last like week. Nobody really tries, nobody cares. But when you have to do the placements, people actually try at least in those first 10 to try and get as high as they can. After that, then you know, may or may not try as hard. But at least like ranked is everybody mostly calming, amazingly. Who would have guessed? And trying to win because they want their account to, you know, place a lot higher. So I think every 6 months, I think that's good. There's no, you know, bad thing about it. And they still have the hidden MMR. So even if like your placement, you go from masters to plat, you're still going to win way more than you lose because your hidden MMR is up there. So it's not that bad. You know, you're going to get back to where you're meant to be. So I don't see that as like a negative at all in any circumstance. It's not like a full actual rank reset where they're just going to 0 and then I could place in bronze, right? Like the lowest I'm going to go from top 500 is probably Masters 1, I would assume. And then from there, you know, you just win 50% and you lose 10. Like that's kind of how it worked last time. So yeah, I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. But yeah, it looks like that is all the changes.
12 patch.
Right?
Thank you all for listening. And there are Twitch drops at twitch.tv/CarQ. I'd appreciate your support if you want to come watch the stream.
There you go. Yep. Check out the CarQs. Always amazing videos. Yeah. All right. That looks like all the changes. Let's see. So overall, for the tanks, I mean, glad Diva got nerfed. Zarya got a little bit of a buff. Didn't seem like much anything else really changed there. Winston, since everybody's health, or a lot of the mobile supports health got lowered, Winston could be a lot stronger, right? Like if on, you know, I haven't played any games yet, but having that lower health is a lot easier to like burst somebody down, get the kills. So maybe Winston, come on, maybe he can come back and be pretty strong. Diva still kind of eats him up because they didn't lower micro missiles or any of that damage, but DM nerf, at least maybe somewhat easier killable. Let's see, Juno coming in. Rush also could be pretty good with Juno. Lucio, Juno, Rush. Not a huge fan of the Sombra buff, but yeah, new game mode. All right, that seems like everything. Let's now get into some gaming. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the YouTubes, and until next video. Peace.